additions, and we have Estill Springs Elementary, Miss Jessica Mullins, with her students to make a presentation.
Thank you all. Good evening. We are honored to be here tonight. I have several representatives here from our kindergarten class. They just recently had a Valentine program, gave every one of us cavities. It was so sweet. And tonight they have come with our music teacher, Miss Neal, to sing one of their selections for you. Are we ready? Okay. I wish that they could perform for you the Cupid Shuffle, but there's not enough square footage here in the room. It took an entire gym floor for them to perform the Cupid Shuffle. But boys and girls, we're so proud of you for being brave and presenting tonight. Let's give them another round of applause. I'm going to take just a moment while Jeremy gets my presentation ready. I'm going to let our families exit if they would like to tonight, because many of our Valentine singers are getting ready to become basketball players tonight. They have ball games. So boys and girls, good luck. Thank you all.
Good job. Thank you all. How are you?
Thank you.
They're so cute. Hi, I don't get to see you. I'm glad to see you. Cared on.
Much better. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you all. Bye,
Bye, Ash.
have a good birthday on Saturday, okay?
Bye, baby. I love you. I love you. Miss Brooks gonna get jealous because I'm getting all the hugs. You know that?
Honestly, I've seen the video and they did a good job on the Cupid show.
They did.
Yeah.
I'll go on and move into our presentation. Thank you all for having us tonight. I hated that we had to miss out on it in January due to weather, so we've been holding in some things that we'd like to share tonight, and we'll get started. I did. Okay. These are just some clips. Our intention was to bring the entire kindergarten class and just shift you all to the gym, but due to ball games, we couldn't do that. But I did want you to know that this has been a very special month for us with our kindergartners. I also want to thank the high school and middle school for allowing us to use their facilities. It did, like I said, take the entire gym for us to do the Cupid Shuffle, so it was needed. And if you'll notice, Cara Dawn looks like security in the top picture there on the left. We've said she's our security guard.
Bouncer.
She's the bouncer. I'm going to turn the microphone over now to Mr. Matthew Robertson. Many of you already know Matthew. He worked for years in the district with the technology department, and then completed the MAT program, taught second grade, and when you all supported the role of technology instructional teacher, Matthew stepped into that role, which was a beautiful fit for him. And I'm so excited. I've asked Kim and Miss Ella to come tonight to share with you some exciting things going on in the classroom.
So 3D printing is something that I've done for years. I got my first one about 4 years ago. I have 3 at my house. I asked Simpson last year if we could get some for the school, and he said, talk to me in summer, and he bought us one. He bought one for West Irvin. So any of the kids that I've had, I've talked to them just because I've been interested anyway. The first class that I had, they're now 5th graders, and they'll tell you I 3D printed all of them a Baby Yoda figure about that tall and gave to them at the end of the school year. So last year we didn't have a 3D printer, but we did do some design stuff. But this year I'm able to do some 3D printing. Here, Ella, take this and take your other one. We're able to do with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th some 3D design and print. And we got some pictures here on our presentation. And then the ones that aren't like real life, those are exactly how it looks like in the software we're using. We're using a software called Tinkercad. It's completely free for education. They can do it on their Chromebooks. They can do it on the computers in my lab. They can do it anywhere. So Ella's actually right there. She's holding. That's the first design she made. She's here. She's doing our 3rd grade assignment. The way it worked, I had them come in, and I pointed up on at the wall, and I have posters of all the sections of technology standards. The first one that they're going to work on with the Tinkercad is Innovative Designer. And I pointed to that poster, said we're doing Innovative Designer with 3D design. I'm not going to get into the details yet, but the main thing we're doing here is a deliberate design process. I'm not going to talk about that today. Here's your assignment, go. And for 3rd grade, the assignment was something, I'm going to be honest, I stole it. Last year at the KISTI conference, I go most years, I talked to a teacher. He does something very similar to me, but he's at one of the schools in Fayette County. And he shared this assignment with me. He gave me a copy of it. And his 3rd graders do something that think of like a board game. Monopoly's the easy choice. And they have the different types of board game pieces. So for his 3rd graders, and what I've done is I've said, we're going to design a board game piece. You can make it anything you want, school appropriate, anything you want. And in the first class, she had maybe 30 minutes after I talked. And the picture she's got there and right there, walk around and show them real close. Show them real close. Show the board members their first design real close. That's what she came up with in about 30 minutes. And this is software she's not used before. So even if she had the idea, it was just in her head. She was getting the computer, but still learning how to do it. So she made that design, and for a first design, I thought it was great because she actually completed her design. It was something that was easy to print. So if I talked to Ella just a few minutes ago, I said, remember, I came down, it was like the next day or the day after, and I'd printed it. And do you remember what the first thing I said was? Like, we want to make improvements to this next time you're in my room. What was the first improvement? Do you remember? The first improvement, she wanted to take a train, if you imagine a train, it's like a cylinder. She wanted to change this blocky shape to a cylinder shape. So I said, all right, that's great. Next time you're in here, we're going to do that. Now, the next time she had me, I've only had her class twice since we've started this project. So she's only had 2 opportunities, 2 cracks at this. I had some examples up on my board, not for just her, but for all of the kids in the class, just get some ideas from. I just Googled some simple 3D designs that other kids have made, stuff that was just available freely. And I had a couple of trains up there. So she had her ideas already that we've been talking about of making revisions and improving on her designs. And then she had the different pictures of trains to go on too. And show them your second design.
Oh, wow.
Now, that is her second design, which all of that, while learning the software, is from her. The only thing I helped her with was she created the shapes, she resized them, she picked out the shapes, and I helped her move them in the 3-dimensional field as she's learning the software. But there's one section that she did ask me for help with. What was the section?
Smoke.
The smoke. So she wanted smoke out of her smoke out of the top. Now, I did not know how to make basic shapes to use to make smoke, so I'll be honest, I said, we'll come up to my desk and we'll see if we can figure it out. And we found where somebody else on Tinkercad had created smoke and shared it. So we copied their design, but it was made out of just spheres, so it was basic shapes. But they made, how many was it? 72. So 72 spheres made that smoke, and we copied their design and we shrunk it down, and we made, that was her second train, and we have a plan for week 3 when she gets to my class on Monday. What's our plan? What's the next thing you'll make? You told me right out there in the hallway.
It was the ceiling, the ones with windows.
Yes, the train car. So we want to make a train car. Now that we've got the train engine, it's looking pretty good. We talked and we want to make a train car to go behind it. So that's going to be week 3 as we get to our next design. So thank you.
Thank you, Matthew did bring some different
Yes.
examples of student creation.
Now I got a couple. I only have about 2 more that I really want to talk about how they came to be, and because the 5th grade project was different. The 3rd graders I said do the game piece, but the 5th graders I said, you know, you're towards the end of elementary. I want you. I'm not going to tell you what, but I want you to think of a print, something you design on this software that serves a purpose, something useful, that doesn't just sit on a shelf and just, you know, have kind of be neat, right? So some of the examples up on the screen, you'll see at the bottom left, we have, those are for pens. The 5th grader thought, well, what if I could create pens for our touch screens that have the teachers' names on them? The one towards the bottom of the middle, it says Miss Ritchie on it, because one of our 5th graders have Miss Ritchie as their teacher, and they said, well, this could be she could set her coffee on this so it doesn't leave a spot on her desk. At the top left, it says soccer. That's a 5th grader that designed one. You can't see it because it's just a still picture, but it's a little box. In the center, it's got a stem for it. She said, well, I play soccer, and I want to take my rings off, and I want to have somewhere to put them while I'm playing soccer. So she hasn't finished yet. She's going to make a lid to make a little box for jewelry. The one at the top middle is a 5th grader too. That's for bracelets. It's just a simple design, the base with the heart, the stem up, so it sits on her desk and can hold her bracelets, keeps them from kind of scattering across the desk. Now, one of the ones I want to talk specifically about was this one. He was working ahead. We invited him, but he had a personal matter come up. He was just off the top of his head said, well, what if I could make a book stand? Hold a book up like you see in a library. Now, I had one that I'd made a few years ago that he used he didn't copy the design at all. He just used it to measure the top and how far from the base to the front is. And in his first design, works great. But if you can probably see from there, it leans a little bit, right? So it has a little bit of a lean to it. So the next time I had them, we've improved. And that's kind of the classes that I've had twice. I've said, I didn't mention the first week about the design process, specifically what it is. But to make it simple, you plan, you design, you create, you evaluate and revise. Now, I made it simple for week 2. Now, when I have her come Monday, and my other classes week 3, we're going to put up on the board an actual design process and go step by step, just so I can say, you've been doing this. You just didn't realize it. And we're making things in 3D. We're creating them. Not only that, it's got some. This is one that he's actually out here playing basketball. We may have invited him. He asked if he could make a ruler in 5th grade. So I said, absolutely. And the reason why is we measure everything in inches, but 3D printing's in millimeters. Figure it out. He did. Because now this is his first design. If you were to measure from each section to each section, it's exactly 1 inch. But first design, he did not account for the width of his line. So I said, well, that's not a big deal, because now you know what to do and how to fix it, right? I went down one morning, is during breakfast and car drop-off, and I told him at like 7:50, 8:05, he sends me an email. I fixed my design. And one thing that we were talking about this morning, this is something that the kids are doing something with the 3D printing. They're learning about the design process, but they're really excited about it. And I get stopped all the time in the hallway, have you printed my design yet? And Jessica said, yeah, they get right off the bus and say, have you printed it yet? So they're learning about the design process. It's in our standards, and they're really excited about it. So I think it's been a great thing, and I'm looking forward to next year kind of adding some new elements to it. I've had some teachers give me some ideas of maybe designing some Christmas ornaments or stuff like that. So next year I want to kind of expand on it, especially now that my 3rd and 4th graders can get some experience this year to carry into next year.
That's great.
Thank you, Matthew and Anna. I wanted them to share tonight because it is only because of the support of the board and the support of Jeremy and the hard work of our technology department and the teachers sending them to Kisti and things like that. I can't wait to see, and I know Ashton, you can relate to this, but I can't wait to see what they're gonna do when they come to the ATC, having this experience in elementary school. So thank you for supporting us through that. We just have a couple more things we wanted to share, from what's going on at Estill Springs, and I skipped right through that. We did New Visions, New Year, New Focus in January, really centered ourselves with what our goals were for the rest of the school year. We are reaching those academic goals, but we're celebrating those academic goals. And 9 times out of 10, every child for reaching a goal chooses our book vending machine. That's their favorite thing to choose, so that was several of our pictures. We also were excited to be the district academic team champs for year 2. But I want you all to know it's not just about Estill Springs. This is a picture of West Irvin and Estill Springs students, and the future is very, very bright for our academic teams. That's the picture I want you all to celebrate because that is a very special group of kids. I also wanted to let you know that Estill Springs will be sponsoring regions, hosting regions on March the 23rd, which is a Saturday. That's going to be a huge day. We have a lot of different counties in our region. That's a day for us to really celebrate Estill County. So we'll tell you all more about it when the time comes, but we would love for you to come and join us or pop in and be a part of that day. We have loved having Mr. White with us this year doing Clear Math. Our students absolutely love him. I'll have to tell you a story at the end of the night. We don't want to put it on camera, but they're teaching him slang, of which he's really trying to learn how to use, and it's great. We also recently used some release time to do U-Fly training with Chrissy Stuber out of the Southeast South Central Co-op. That was very helpful for our teachers. I wanted to share this with you for Kindness Week, FRC Week, Valentine's Day, and the month of February. This actually has sound, Jeremy, if you can. It's okay. You all can see what's going on. But we know February is a month that we celebrate Family Resource Centers. And these are some of the top things that our students and families give feedback on that are positive aspects of our Family Resource Center. I don't think I'd have to tell you very much at all for you all to know what a pivotal role they play in our schools in just identifying barriers, bridging the gap to those barriers, and just supporting staff. Ms. Shea does more in a day's time than I could ever give her credit for. She organizes so much that allows our students access and opportunity that they may not would have were it not for her using her funds wisely, were it not for her making connections with our community and with the state. We appreciate all the assistance that she brings to our family, and many of those things go unnoticed because she doesn't even tell us. She's out there helping families, and we're very blessed as a district with wonderful family resource coordinators, but they do so many things under the radar that we don't even know they're doing because they're just out helping families and being respectful in the way that they do that, so we don't even see those things going on. She does work with our high school senior workers that come in as well. One of my favorite things is Halloween. She makes sure every student in the building who wants to dress up has a costume. That's a big deal if you're a child coming to school for your Halloween parties and you don't have an outfit to wear. Books for birthdays. Every student gets a book out of the vending machine during their birthday month. That's also something they all look forward to. We had to cancel our family learning night this week due to sickness and being out of school, but we hope to get that rescheduled because those are always a huge event to get families into our school. We do appreciate the opportunity that we've had post-COVID. Now more than ever, we appreciate those opportunities to bring families in and get to know them better. She and Miss Courtney work with Tony Garrett Hall at South Irvin for our transition days, our summer fun days, and just an opportunity that we wanted to take to let Ms. Shea know and to let you all know how much we appreciate the work that she does in our school. We did kind of take advantage of having school counselor month, family resource month or week, and we are collecting donations to create blessing bags that can go to Helping Hands to help. We know We know how big of a role Debbie Risen played during the winter storm in making sure families had what they needed, and those will be additional donations we can provide for them. We did celebrate the 100th day of school. I loved some of the ideas about the students had about what they would do when they're 100, eat soup, make my own clothes, go to the nursing home. Like, they had a lot of ideas. I wasn't sure about making my own clothes. I felt like it was going backwards, but they thought that was a great idea. And to close up here, our garden club, no matter what Chris Bailey says, we're ready for spring, and we're planting seeds, and we can't wait for those to bloom. But thank you all for continuing to support our school, for allowing me the opportunity to share with you tonight. As always, you're welcome to come visit. We're just really proud of the things going on at Estill Springs. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hey, great job, Estill Springs. Thank you for coming this evening. Next on our agenda, we have our Estill County School District Finance Corporation. Would you like to say anything about that, Mr. Brock?
Well, we've got Mark Rollins here from Baird that's going to kind of go through that with us. I know we've got we want to,
A motion to adjourn.
yeah, and then we'll have to convene that
Okay.
committee.
So, moving
Finance
forward, I need a motion to consider or recess our regular board meeting to enter into the Estill County School District Finance Corporation. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Brian Covey makes a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so at this time, do we ask everyone else to leave, or do we stay?
No,
Okay.
they can stay.
All right, so, would you like to take it over, Mr. Baird, or?
Yeah. Well, we have to,
Need to call to order the finance.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so at this time, I need to call this, I got my other agenda here, I'm with you. At this time, I need to call this meeting to order, and do y'all want to go, or to move on to approve
You have to
the
approve
meeting agenda?
the meeting agenda.
So I need a motion to approve the District Finance Corporation meeting agenda, and we have that in front of us. I have a motion by Sheila Samples, a second by Tammy Hardy. And so now we need to elect officers, is that correct?
Well,
Vote on the motion you just made to approve.
yeah.
Make a motion. I'm all confused.
I'll say, so you
I'm
just
all
had a motion,
confused.
you just had a motion and a second for approval of the Finance Corporation agenda. You'll need to take a vote on it.
Okay, so we need a vote on the agenda. Any opposed? Okay. All right, so are we right now?
Now we're good. Now you
Okay,
can-
now we
Confirm
need
or
to
elect
confirm or
officers.
elect officers, and, we
I don't-
already have officers that are in place, but I don't know if,
You can just take a motion to confirm them and keep them in place.
So could I just make a motion to keep things the way they are?
Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
so we have a motion and a second to confirm the officers that are in place.
And you
So,
don't need to vote on that.
we need a vote on that. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so we got that done. All right, so now what?
Consider approval. You'll need a motion for the next item in a second.
So we need a motion for approval of a resolution authorizing a contract rent and lease with Estill County School District Finance Corporation in connection with the corporation's refund revenue. Is that right? Okay, so I need a motion for that. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Do we have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second.
And then,
you need
Mark, do you want to talk about that then?
And then
Yeah,
call for a vote.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you have in front of you a resolution that basically is authorizing a refinancing and doing a fine job. Don't feel bad. I know this finance corporation stuff is goofy. The reason that you do that, and some of you may recall from some of the other bond issues that we've done, in their infinite wisdom, the General Assembly and the legislators in Kentucky don't think that school districts should be allowed to issue debt that extends beyond the end of the fiscal year. So the workaround was a creation of the School District Finance Corporation, which is the Board of Education, right? So that entity can't issue long-term debt. And so you approve a resolution that authorizes a refinancing bond issue, is what we're talking about tonight. And then you'll come out of this, sports side of that thing. So, but all we're authorizing tonight is a refinance. You guys issued bonds in 2013. The average rate on those is about a 4.15, 4.17, and interest rates now are, they're still, it's strange because their overall interest rates are higher now than they were in 2013, but because now there's only 10 years left on this deal, you can get a lower rate versus what was on it. So we're thinking something in the neighborhood of about a 3.15 is gonna produce the savings level that the Department of Education requires in order for us to move forward with these. We're sitting at about a 3.20 right now, so we need interest rates to come down a little bit more. But what we wanted to do is go ahead and authorize it, give us the ability to quickly be able to move and get it into the market if interest rates go our way, so that we can lock in the savings for you guys. The refunding, if we hit that savings threshold, is gonna produce about $60,000 to $70,000 in total of savings for the school district. It's about $7,000 or $8,000 a year, at a minimum. You know, if rates come down enough, it could be more than that. Like I said, we wanted to go ahead and authorize it so we can move quickly if interest rates do come down just a little bit. And they did come down a little bit today, so I think we're moving in the right direction. Hopefully we'll be in a position to move fairly quickly on that. Like I said, on all that money, it's a relatively small amount, but that basically would be another $60,000 or $70,000 that you could add to bonding capacity, if you were to refinance those bonds.
Does anybody have any questions about this? So basically, what you're doing is waiting and monitoring the rates, and then when the rate is right, you're gonna set.
Yeah, we'll sell them. Of course, we'll be in contact with Mr. Brock the entire time. We're not gonna do anything without keeping him apprised, and Angie too, of what we're doing. And we would need some help from them to make some of that stuff happen, but we wanna get the approvals out of the way. We've gotten the approvals at the state level out of the way as well, so that, you know, we can just move quickly then if interest rates continue to come down.
So if there are no questions, then we need a motion or we need a vote. Okay, so, all in favor? Any opposed? So motion carries.
And then you'll need one to
Alright.
adjourn.
And then we need a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Finance Corporation. Sheila Samples makes a first, Brian Covey makes a second, all in favor? Okay, so.
Now we're back to this one.
Now we're back to our main agenda.
Need to reconvene.
So, I need a motion to reconvene our Estill County Board of Education regular board meeting. Sheila Samples makes a motion, Tammy Hardy makes a second, so, and then all in favor? Okay. So now we're back in session.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the next item.
And so the next item on our agenda is to consider approval of a contract with Baird to serve as our financial advisor for the Estill County District Finance Corporation School Building Refunding Revenue Bond Series 2024.
Yeah, so and that includes what he was just talking about, and they've been great to work with. They've kept me apprised. They've already taught me a lot about bonding this year, and anytime I reach out to them, they've been great. So it's my recommendation that we consider the approval of the contract.
So I need a motion to approve the contract. I have a motion by Sheila Samples. Do I have a second? Carrie Smallwood makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I need a call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. So then, we're down to item D, which is consider approval for resolution authorizing a contract rent lease with the Estill County School District Corporation in connection with the corporation's refunding revenue bond series 2024 and approving all other documents in connection with the bonds.
It's my recommendation we approve that as well.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve. Brian Covey makes a motion. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? Anything further? If not, I need a call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Now there are action items.
Do we have anything for them? Are you gonna stay, or you want to
I mean, it's up to
leave?
them.
It's up to you.
It doesn't matter, we're not in any hurry necessarily.
Okay, yeah, I've got some stuff we'll sign afterwards.
Okay. So next we have our action items. I need, consideration for approval of the revised 23-24 school calendar. And everyone is anxiously awaiting this. Would you like to discuss it, Mr. Brock?
So, the only thing on this one is, we had, because of sickness this week, we've been out a couple of days and used NTI days. Tomorrow would be a teacher work day. So the only thing on this approval so far is to move the teacher work day or the teacher equivalency day from March 1st to tomorrow. And then on March 1st, students would be here and be in session. We're still waiting a little bit as far as to see what happens in March, to see what we need to do in April as far as the final calendar. The rest of February and March, hopefully we won't get any more snow. We've got a couple more days that we can use for our NTI days. So as of right now, everything is on track. But if we can make this move from March 1st to tomorrow, and then students being here March 1st, that'll help keep us on track.
So I need a motion to approve the revised 23-24 school calendar. Shayla Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of student accident insurance renewal policy. Mr. Brock?
So, we have done this every year, to my knowledge, that we don't just carry insurance for our athletes, we carry accident insurance for all of our students. And we got the quote, the agreement for next year, and it did not go up at all. It's actually the same price as it was last year. It's my recommendation that we approve the approval of the renewing our student accident insurance policy.
Okay, so I need a motion for approval of our student accident insurance renewal policy. Brian Covey makes a motion. Sheila Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? And all those documents are in front of you all.
Yeah, you will have
You
them,
have
you
them
have
all,
them in
so.
your electronically through the e-meeting.
Okay. Next, I need consideration for approval of the following MOAs.
So we've got two here to consider. The first one is with Young Smiles. They provide our dental services and work with our youth service centers and our Friskies to provide dental services for our kids. They have a mobile unit that doesn't require any space inside the building. They service all of our kids, no questions asked. They've provided us good service for years now. I don't see any reason to go away from what that they're doing for us. Everybody's happy with what they are doing, so I recommend that we approve that. The other one is simply a reoccurring MOA with KDE for a former employee that technically is still on agreement with us. They're working for the state currently, and we have to approve that yearly as well.
So I need a motion to approve the following MOAs that as discussed by Mr. Brock. Carrie Smallwood makes a motion. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries. Next, we have consideration for approval of some out-of-state field trips.
So this would be the 8th grade class going to Kings Island. So I recommend we approve it.
I need a motion to approve the 8th grade class trip to Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Shayla Samples makes a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor? Any opposed? Looks like they're going to Kings Island. All right, next we have consideration for approval of an academic state competition rooms in March.
So it's my understanding that historically for state competitions, when we have people competing, that the board would pay for the rooms. This is just paying for the rooms for the state competition, which is in March. It's my recommendation we approve this for the academic team.
I need a motion for approval. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Need to call for a vote at this time if there's no discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of the 24-25 school calendar, which is also a hot topic. Everybody wants to know, they wanna book cruises and all kinds of things, Mr. Brock.
All right, Donald, do you want to take this one?
Vacations, Mr. Norton.
So if you look at the attachment, the calendar committee met earlier this month, and we looked at two different calendars. They liked things in both calendars, so we kind of made our own calendar, and are making this a recommendation for you. In August, the 2nd and the 5th is professional development days. The opening day is August 6th, with the first day of students as the 7th. We have fall break in October the 7th through the 11th. Now, we have PD marked as 7th and 8th, but remember, a lot of teachers have already gotten that PD out of the way, so.
Those would technically be flex PD days, so
Correct.
that if they had their 24 hours, they would not have to report. And if they didn't have them, then that would be an option for them.
I guess the other hot topic is spring break, and that would be the 7th of April through the 11th. That puts us, the last day of students, as the 16th of May and closing day on the 19th of May. We've also, in the calendar, put in 4 teacher equivalency days, which are important for our staff to talk about data, to plan if there's any changes that needs to be made to the instruction or classes. Those are highlighted in orange. If the board has any questions, I would be happy to answer them about the calendar for next year.
And I know that there was some rumbling this year about fall break and spring break not always lining up with surrounding counties. So I tasked Donald this year with looking at surrounding counties, not that we want to do exactly what everybody else does, but to try to align us with the surrounding counties the best as possible, because we have to be realistic in this. We also share students, we have parents that work in these counties, so we want to do the best we can to accommodate that, and that is in this calendar. So.
Okay. So, I need a motion to approve the 24-25 school calendar. Sheila Samples makes a motion, I need a second. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? Any questions? If not, I need a vote to approve. All in favor? Any opposed? The motion carries with a 5-0 vote. You heard it here first, folks. All right, so that brings us down to our consent items. Mr. Brock, would
Yep.
you like to discuss those?
Yeah, just briefly, we've got the standard stuff for consent items this month, the minutes from January 18th regular meeting, and you all have those in your electronic packets. The treasury report and the paying of the bills, you have that as well. The only thing that's a little bit different is approve the shuttle during the Mushroom Festival, April 27th and 28th. This is the same contract that we've used with them in the past, and they would compensate us for buses and drivers, and it's just used for the Mushroom Festival to help shuttle people down to help with parking. So it's my recommendation that we approve the consent items.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent items as Mr. Brock discussed. Tammy Hardy makes a motion, Brian
I'm sorry,
Covey
I
makes a
didn't-
second.
I was trying to vote, good Lord.
I thought you made a second.
I can, yeah, I'll second it.
All right, do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, that brings us down to Mr. Brock's superintendent report. Mr. Brock, give us an update.
Okay, so before I get into my update, I know Mr. Bowles is with us. He wants to personally invite board members and people to come out to an event in March, and I encourage everybody, not just board members, but in our school district and our community, to come out and participate in this. It's a really, really big deal and a really a huge honor to our band. I don't want to take anything away from what he's going to say, but I'm going to give him the floor just a second to do the invitations.
Thank you, sir. I want to apologize in advance because I don't have a Valentine song prepared for you. But anyway, very briefly, on behalf of our marching band students, all of our band parents, boosters, all of my marching band staff, and myself. We want to invite you all to our awards banquet. This is basically just going to be an awards type banquet ceremony with lots of good food. It's going to be at the high school gym. And we'll take the time that night to kind of reflect and celebrate this historic season that we've had. We will honor and recognize our band seniors, even this guy. And last but not least, we will have our Sudler Shield Awards presentation. And that's going to be done by Dr. Dale Warren, which is going to join us all the way from Fayetteville, Arkansas, to come and make the presentation. He's the chairman of that committee. So it promises to be a great night of celebration. And we will want to personally invite all of you guys as our distinguished guests. We would love for you to join us. Thanks, sir.
I already have it on my calendar.
All right, perfect.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And as always,
Two, I've got one.
thank you all for your continued support of our program. We could not do what we do without that, and I've said it publicly 1,000 times. I'm in constant contact with directors throughout the state, sometimes on a daily basis. And our situation from a high school administrative standpoint, a community standpoint, and from a school board standpoint is not typical. And we are incredibly thankful and appreciative for that. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles.
In March.
Okay, so going right on with my report, the personnel, you can look at that attachment. It's in your documents. We have a few new hires for school bus assistants, full-time bus assistants, some custodian, and a paraeducator. Had one resignation that actually came in, and we can look at that. I can talk about that a little bit more later if you all have questions. Enrollment is actually up as compared to last year, just a little bit, I think. Total, we're at 2207 if you count South Irvin, and we're 2,069 overall if you take them out. Attendance, we're down just a little bit. We've had a little bout of sickness, as you all know, and last week, our numbers are down a little bit. We're about 9144 for the district right now up to this point. When we get our NTI and some of our other stuff in, I think that that'll bump back up. We should be somewhere back around 92, 93-ish for the attendance. There's just a few things in the district highlight, which I try to keep you all informed periodically anyway, and you all know you reach out to me at any time. Lots of positive feedback coming in from the new teacher cohort, the new teacher supports that we've started, especially from our option 6, and I know that Ms. Napier is doing a good job with that, and Ms. O'Brien and Ms. Mays is working hard on that. And when I say lots of good things coming in, these are not prompted. These are teachers stopping by my office, sending me an email, just randomly out of the blue and going, we really need this. This is something that our district has been lacking. We get supported and we get coached at the school level, but this goes above that. And being new teachers and being option 6 teachers and not having the formal education classes in college, this has been something that they've really pointed to. And I've had 4 different teachers that just out of the blue since it started 3 weeks ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, before it really got started, that have just randomly come by and talked about how wonderful it is. I have been informed by my cohort, not only informing you on some of the things I do, but I have to specifically tell you the standard that I'm meeting. So I have added that tonight. And I'm supposed to do one, and I'm a little bit behind because I haven't specifically told you standards, so I'm going to do 2. Standard 2, instructional leadership. We recently purchased some more iReady materials, magnetic, for our elementary schools. K through 5, it'll do 2 things. Number 1, in the lower grades, the K2, it really gives supports with the science of reading. But K5, it has the leveled text, and it has the science reading completely for K5 too, but specifically in that K2. We purchased at K5. Each teacher has a kit. We're not sharing one through the library. They all have their own kits in their rooms. And what the feedback I've got so far is they're really excited about that. So we just got those in and distributed those. Actually, this week we finished distributing those. Those were an initiative that was supposed to pick up next year to support the ready reading that we already have, but we've already got them in. The materials are already there. Teachers were asking me, when I was in a meeting with Miss Arvin last week, they was asking for leveled readers, and I said, they're coming. They should be here within a month, and lo and behold, they came in the next day. So we went ahead and got those out. Standard 7, influential leadership. I continue to meet with leaders across the state about SEEK funding. I've been in contact with our representative, and they're starting a SEEK task force, and I'm trying to get on that. He has assured me that I will be on that. I've talked to some with CBE and other organizations as well. Two issues that we're facing with SEEK statewide, and I'll just really quickly go into these, and you all are not unaware of these. You know that it's an issue. And if you probably saw my big mug on TV last night, I got interviewed by a couple of organizations. Two things. The SEEK base has not kept up with inflation, and the money that it directly impacts our district is far less than it was in 2008, and that's the way that it is statewide when you're talking real money. That's affecting everybody. We as a property poor district have our own unique problem with it as well, because there's three basic tenets of SEEK. There's the SEEK base, the part that I'm talking about. There's the SEEK base, there's their local contribution, which sets at 30 cents, and then there's the tier 1, which is the equalization piece. The SEEK base has changed throughout the years, but the equalization piece and the local contribution hasn't really changed a whole lot. And the gap in funding has got way wider than it was back in 1990 when it was ruled unconstitutional. I think that this SEEK task force is going to be tasked with figuring out how to solve that. I've got multiple spreadsheets already up there on my computer. I can tell them how to fix it in 5 minutes if they'll just put the money in it. It's not that difficult of a problem. So that's kind of what we've been doing with as far as Standard 7 influential leadership. I'll continue to do that. We're continuing to meet with, I got a meeting with legislatures next week, no, the week after. It's on the 27th, and then I've got meetings coming up concerning funds for the middle school, because we're still trying to get emergency funding for our middle school to the tune of $42 million to build a new middle school. So hopefully that'll come through. I am very optimistic that we're going to be able to get that done in this year's budget. So that's as far as my update. What else do I have here? I think that's it. We've got principals reports now, and who wants to volunteer to go first? Ms. Halcomb, I'm just going to volunteer you.
I brought a flyer for each of you, so my voice is still a little bit, I'm battling what everybody else is battling. This is just a little update of what we're doing at the middle school. I'm pretty sure you all watched the news on the 1st when we had Mr. Dave Day. And that was a really special day for everybody at the middle school. If you have never met Mr. Dave, you need to, because he is a phenomenal human being. And it was a great way for us to kick off our kindness month. Mr. Dave, I think his wife is actually going to get to come home tomorrow. So if you all can, keep them in your thoughts as she gets to come home hopefully tomorrow. Some curriculum updates. Our teachers are working really hard in our building. They're working on building standard-based assessments and modeling those high-yield strategies in their classroom. We are up and running with our e-hall pass system, which is tracking when kids are in and out of the classrooms. And it has been a great tool so far that we have been using. It limits the numbers of kids that can be in the hallway at the same time. It's a great monitoring tool, and our teachers are really, really liking it. Students, not so much, but we are loving it.
If I understand it correctly, it's interconnected, so you can keep your building wide. Every teacher knows how
Every
many's
building teacher knows.
in the hall.
So you can set your own limit. So I've set a limit of how many kids can be out at the exact same time. So I know exactly how many kids are out in the hallways at max. So if there's ever an issue, an emergency, I know exactly how many kids. It tells me if they're green, that means they're active, red is inactive, and yellow, I need to go look for them. So We're excited about our training on thoughtful ed. Miss Sarah Bryan is gonna talk to us, or Miss Sarah Beard is gonna talk to us more about that tomorrow. Some of the upcoming events, we have baseball and softball tryouts happening right now with our middle school kids. They are extremely excited about that. And on Monday, I'm sure I'm gonna get bombarded with, I made the team, are you gonna come and watch? And I can't wait for that. We've set our parent-teacher conference for March 20th, and our spring fling is set for April the 27th. So those are some things that are coming up. And then on the back, I just wanted to show you some pictures of the kids and some of the things that they've been doing in their classes that have been really creative, hands-on, and the kids are having a really good time. They made food webs. This was an activity that Miss Beard worked with Mr. Short on, and they had a great time with it. And then the breakout rooms, Brandy Smith created a breakout room for her ELA classes, and they had a blast with that. So we're doing some awesome things at the middle school. We would love to have you all out anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you,
Halcom.
Ms. Halcom.
Mr. Yost?
Ms. Halcom said I'll have whatever you're having. I don't think she's been sickness, so. We've been both battling it all week, but, I'm on the mend.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Donna's awesome, as you know, takes care of everybody.
Thank you. It's like I think we all have had a
Just
little,
a second,
all
okay?
have had a little bit of something.
So I just wanted to, I said, Mr. Brock, as usual, is about one step ahead of me. Because we were gonna talk about the Sutler Shield Award, March 23rd tonight, and he, did a good job with that, so. But yes, guys, we would love y'all to come out on March 23rd. It's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna be in Estill County the entire Saturday, because my son will be over at regional academic team at Estill Springs. So I'll be over there with them all day, and then I'll come to the band banquet that night, and it's gonna be a good day here for Estill County in a lot of ways. Couple more big accomplishments just recently. Academic team, they were the Governor's Cup 48th District champions, beating Rockcastle and Jackson both. Their regional competition is scheduled for Saturday.
Casey County?
Casey County, with the weather predicted Friday night, we'll see. But if not, it'll get pushed to next week. But they're hoping to operate on a delay. Anyways, the regional schedule's for Saturday. FCCLA just had the Region Stars event. We had three different teams or individuals who placed first in the region. They're going to state in March. So Brooklyn Farrell was first place in career investigation. There's definitely no one in this room proud of her.
She's a tip off the block.
Emma Taylor and Riley Arthur were first place in chapter and review. And Nebraska Plowman and McKaylin Cantor were first place in chapter service project. And I'm actually not going to say much about that because they're going to be part of our presentation next month. So I'm not going to steal any of their thunder, and I'm going to let them talk about their presentation at next month's board meeting.
Your FFA was at National Farm Machinery Show?
FFA just went to the National Farm Machinery Show today. They also were at the Leadership Forum at EKU Divisions Conference a couple weeks ago, so they've been really active with a lot. I know FBLA has their regionals coming up next month as well, so our CTSOs are doing a lot of great stuff right now. Just some news and notes for you all to know coming up. ACT for juniors is March 12th. Career and Tech Ed into program assessments are February 26th through March 8th. That's a huge couple of weeks for the high school. That's our last big push along with the industry certs. It's our last big push for post-secondary readiness. That's a big couple of weeks. Basketball district tournaments are at Powell County, February 26th through the 29th. We host 14th Region Girls Basketball Tournament the week of March 4th. We'd love for y'all to come out to that. We'll be hosting games all week for the Girls Region Tournament. Prom is Saturday, May 4th. To my disappointment, the students did not vote for a Star Wars theme on May 4th. I had a Darth Vader tuxedo ready to go, but ancient Greece will be the theme. I've already banned togas, so we're good on that. But ancient Greece will be the theme this year, and it'll be on May 4th. So it's always the same day as Derby, kind of tradition. Am I allowed to talk about tentative date for graduation?
Yes, you can talk about that.
We have tentatively set the graduation date as May 17th, the evening of closing day. Sorry. Tentatively, we've set the date for graduation as May 17th, provided that there's no more crazy weather stuff. But that's the Friday night of closing day. We'll do it in the gym, 6 o'clock. We'll have a great event. It's always wonderful for our seniors to celebrate them on the way out into the real world, quote unquote. So we're excited for that. So we just got done meeting today with principals, with Mr. Brock, and started setting some of the end of the year dates. So May 17th will be the tentative graduation date. Yes.
Did you mention the Governor's Cup 48th District
That was
Champions?
actually out of order. I mentioned that.
Okay.
Yes. Just some update on some statistics. Y'all, I know y'all like when I bring data for you guys. 81.2% is current number for post-secondary readiness, and again, the last 2 weeks of EOPs are where you see that number's going to go up at that point. 44 students have currently already earned in the class 2024 high-demand industry certifications at the ATC. That number again has potential to go up well over 50. One thing I'm particularly proud of, and this senior class, I can't brag on them enough for this. 74.3% of this class 2024 has met the Kentucky Academic Readiness Benchmark. That's a huge increase over the last couple of years. So that's major props to our teachers and the hard work they're doing this year, their work with standards and working with students on improving those skills. Novice rates continue to drop based on the IXL data, and we'll do our next IXL diagnostic on March 12th for our 9th and 10th grade students along with the ACT. And we've got some visits for seniors to colleges and businesses and job shadowing ready for that day as well. So a lot of awesome things going on at the high school. As others have said, you're welcome to come out and visit anytime. I'd love to see you all.
Ms. Arvin?
I'll just sit right here. Is that okay with you all? I would just like to talk with you all a little bit about the great things that are going on in terms of the different tiers of MTSS. For Tier 1, we are still very, very focused on the reading and the math. We have a lot of great things happening right now with the addition of the new high-quality instructional resource. The teachers already have that in their hands. NTI days are always bittersweet. We want the kids to be in the building. Our buildings are happier places when they're there. But when they're not there, we do make sure that we use the time to improve instruction and plan for them when they come back. So that's what's been happening this week. Teachers have really been working on those assessments, making sure that all of the instruction is at the level it needs to be. And they have gone back through what has been done this year so far and really looked at the student needs based on their data so that they're going to make sure that they are really mastering those standards and ready to go on to the next grade level. I was hoping that was celebrating, but it might not be, is it? That's going on in both reading and math, so the teachers have used this time for that benefit. In the Tier 2 piece, we are really trying to hone in on making sure that the time in the classroom is utilized to get those small groups in, and the students are getting the reteaching that they need. I am excited that Mr. Brock brought an opportunity to us in the terms of a grant to apply for. The district applied for that last year, and that will be for a high-quality instructional resource for Tier 2 in reading. So we're really digging into that, and some of our goal teams even discussed that today. So that is an exciting opportunity that we're looking forward to having next year. In the Tier 3 piece, all I can tell you is our interventionists they're just amazing. And I could not capture that in anything I would give you. I really would just love for you all to come and watch the students when they walk out of those intervention sessions. And yes, they know their teachers are helping them. And they know that they're getting small groups in those rooms. But then that interventionist gets to them with that focused instruction and those great resources that they have. And the kids come out and they're giving me high fives and they're, look what we did. Learning is exciting. We don't have to do anything except provide those opportunities for them to excel. And that is the amazing things that we see going on right now. If you look at what's happening in our building, it's really been focused on instruction. Yes, we have fun things happening, but it's really been about what's happening in the classrooms. Because of weather, because of sickness, we've been out. And every day that we're there, we want to make the most of our time with those kids. We are staying focused on lots of prongs right now. Attendance is one of them. We met today as gold teams and looked at that. And looking at our data from January to this point, each grade level, and Mr. Norton, I'm just going to tell you that Ms. Kim is the one that ran the report. I didn't do it. I didn't have any ability to fudge anything. But every grade level was in the 90th percent or above as attendance from January to this point. That's amazing. And kindergarten is one of our leading grades. So those are fantastic things. If we are getting them to school, they're going to excel. We also looked at our behavior. I know that's something that is important to our school, to make sure that we're providing those supports for our students. What we realized from looking at our Swiss data, which is focused on office referrals, we really are meeting the needs of all students with our PBIS system, because we have more than 90% of our students achieving success with those behavioral supports. Fantastic. Our kids feel safe. We recently had some folks in our building that did some surveys, some focus groups with our 4th and 5th grade students, and we were so excited to hear the results of that, because they, in their own voice, were reporting the things that they see going on in our building that supports them when they're struggling with bullying issues or struggles in class. And it was just heartwarming to hear that come from an outside person that didn't know our students, didn't have any reason to add bias to it. It was just an amazing thing. I guess at this point, do you all have any questions? We're just really focused on the instruction in those tiers, those 3 tiers.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Harvin.
Thank you.
Ms. Garrett Hall? I sure will.
So the first thing I was gonna share with you is our December 1 count. And so it says 2022 and 2023 because it was December 1. Preschool funding comes based on the children that qualify. So I wanted to share with you the numbers from last year versus this year. Last year we had 80 students that actually qualified for preschool. We hovered around 170 students in the building, but only 80 of them did we get funding for, because that's all that qualified. This year, our numbers are down as far as the number of kids that are attending preschool. We're hovering around somewhere between 130, 135. That's not counting our early Head Start kids. But 107 of them qualify, so we'll get funding for 107 of those children. Underneath that picture of the party in the classroom, I wanted to share that. That is, we call it the pyramid model. You hear other kids, other students, and other schools reference PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention System. For us, that's the pyramid model. And the kids work for 10, we call them warm fuzzies. They're really just little puff balls. When they get 10 for positive behavior, then they get their choice of a prize as a group. And so this class had worked for a dance party, and that's what that is in that picture. In the middle, we finally do have that sensory room that I spoke about earlier. It is installed and in use, and we're gathering data for that. We partnered with the BREA RTC for that grant. That picture underneath is one of the days that we were installing that room, and that was too good not to share. That's Chelsea Clark. She is our occupational therapist, and that's a crash pad. So the kids they don't run and jump on it, they fall on it, and that's for sensory input. And then the last thing I just wanted to share that even our little children are participating in those Google Meets. That's someone's phone. Our kids don't have Chromebooks because on typical days they will never need them. But we do give them the opportunity twice a day on NTI days to participate. You can see at the bottom, that's the teacher screen, and that, I guess they're learning the number 16 that week. So. And then the very bottom QR code, if you haven't seen the video on Facebook, that's a video that we created of the sensory room. We showed all the kids that so they would know how to use it when they go in there. It's probably about 3 minutes long. That's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Ms. Mullins, do you have anything else to add, or you good?
I'm good.
All right. Make sure we got everybody.
I do want to thank you all though for the magazine resources. I know we already talked about that tonight, but we're ready to dig into those, so thank you all again for supporting that.
So on behalf of the board, I'd like to say thank you to our principals and thank you for coming to present tonight. It really means a lot to us and it helps keep us informed about what else going on in the building. So good job and exciting things. It's a great time to be an engineer, Mr. Brock.
It absolutely is.
So that brings us down to our board member forum. Does anybody have anything to share or discuss?
I think it summed it up.
Anybody? Anything else, Mr. Brock?
I'm good.
We have KSBA coming up in March.
Yeah, KSBA is coming up.
Yeah, so March 1st through the 3rd,
Yep.
the Board of Education will be attending the Kentucky School Board Conference in Louisville. So we'll be all heading down there together for that education and training and networking with other school districts. So it's always a good time to go there and see what else going on throughout the Commonwealth. Mr. Do we have any, Mr. Simpson, do we have any public comments? Mr. Brock said it's your fault. So
Always, always.
do we have any public comments? No public comments. Alrighty, so, next we have our SEPA Compliance and Technology Protection Measures, TPM, public forum.
Yeah, we are required to, for E-rate purposes, to hold a public forum. We only have to hold it once ever, and I'm sure we held it 20 years ago, but we can no longer find the documentation to show that we had a public forum. So we have to redo it so that for E-rate purposes, we have to let the public know and ask questions on our SIPA compliance, which is Child Internet Protection Act, as well as our technology protection measures called TPM. So does anybody here have questions about any of that? Just to make sure I cover it, we are given a filter for internet protection purposes by the state called Lightspeed. It runs on every device in the district so that we can block inappropriate sites or sites that students should not be accessing on any district network or device. And then we also have a state-provided firewall which blocks outside intruders from getting into our network, and that is maintained by the state. And we are getting ready to start phishing exercises with our staff because we have some staff that don't properly read their email, which results in me disconnecting their accounts. So we have purchased some new software that will periodically send emails to our staff to test them to make sure, and this includes board members, by the way, to make sure that you all are reading your emails, and if it does not sound right or somebody asks for your password, do you ever give anybody your password? No.
So jokingly, but also seriously, Mr. Brock will never send you an email asking for money or for your password or for any kind of information from you. He will not do that.
Yeah, the last email that we had 2 teachers fall for was Mr. Bach saying, "I need your password." And they thought that he really needed their password.
It was not Mr. Brock.
No. So, but if nobody has any questions or concerns, that's it.
I would say, Mr. Simpson asked me about the phishing expedition and the software to do that. I think it's just good practice to test what you have and to make sure that we are staying diligent and focused. And if we do have some that get a little bit lax, because let's be honest, if you're a new employee and you see an email from Mr. Brock, you may be like, okay, I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to do this. But it just teaches them, hey, look at the email address, look at the signature, look and see if it's really from who it says it is. So I think on our part, we're being proactive rather than being reactive so that we can shore up any deficiencies we may have before something really hits.
About a year ago, this same company that we went with, we did a test phishing email that they allowed us to send out, and out of our 490 employees, we had 120 fall for it. So we're hoping to get those numbers down. One thing I did not say is that if someone does, maybe you're having an off day, you're just not paying attention for what kids are getting on your nerves, I don't know, it could be anything. Not the kids get on your nerves. But what ends up happening, if something happens and they click on an email because they're just not paying attention, then there are remediation steps they can go through, some trainings that are incorporated in with this software that they have to complete as part of this project.
We'll say Mr. Simpson works in technology. He
That's
doesn't
what I was gonna say.
We love our kids. We're not. He's not been in the classroom in a while, so.
Maybe I should have said when the staff's getting on your nerves. I don't know.
So, anyway.
Mr. Simpson, that's called word vomit.
Yeah.
I don't have a
I would have
filter.
done this, but you're in charge back there, so. Anybody have anything else? I think we're done.
I think that takes care of it all right there.
We are top that one, so.
I say we best adjourn.
Yeah.
I'd like
Leave
to
it as
call
is.
for a motion to adjourn and a vote to adjourn. Shayla Samples, Tammy Hardy, and all in favor? Any opposed? Do you want to stay longer? Motion carries. We're closed. Did you get the time? Thank you all for staying.
Thanks, Mark.
Sorry, I was a ding dong, trying to go between two
Listen,
servers.
you haven't done that in so long, and I've never done it, so that's why I wanted them here.